Hey guys, JJ Coda here, doing it slightly differently this week, doing an international roundup for the players that were out on international duty, rather than a loan roundup. That will come back next week. And to be fair, there's been some good performances, within that. So hopefully that will stand us in good stead for Aston Villa this weekend. I'm going to start with both Odebear and Tell, because obviously they were playing for the under 21s. And both of them did really well. You know, you had Odebear played both games. In the first game, he played 63 minutes. In the second game, he played the full 90. And he got 4 goals and an assist. So, you know, overall over the 2 games, that's really good. For Tell, he, over the 2 games, in the first one he played the full 90, in the second one he played 82. He got a couple of goals and an assist, and it's going to be interesting for those two. You know, I think the jury is still out a little bit with Tell and Odebear, because I think the difficulty we're having is that we're not sure what their best positions are for us. You know, I think the difficulty with Odebear is the fact that he's more of a right-sided player, and we're trying to shoehorn him onto the left. And I think we're still trying to work out for Tell whether it's better for him on the left, or if it is more suitable for him to play up top. So it's going to be one that I think we're going to have to see how it pans out through the season. If we can make that work, then hopefully there's a big future for both of them. But time will tell with that one. No pun intended with regards to that. Then you had Archie Gray, who played both under 21 games for England, so more minutes for him, so that was good, and hopefully we'll then just continue that on for us sort of going forward. Then going into the main sort of internationals, we had Mohamed Kudus, who played the full 90 minutes of the first game and then played 76 of the second. Got a goal, got an assist. He's just continuing on his rich vein of form. So, hopefully that will be something that, again, he just continues, because down that right, he is offering so much more, than we were getting from anybody else, really. And I think that will also give a bit more flexibility on what we can do with Decky when he comes back. And I'm going to say this, I think Brennan Johnson should play up top. I really do. So we'll see where he goes in terms of that. Xavi Simons played bit parts in his games for Holland. He played 6 minutes in the first game and then 11 in the second. Did get an assist, so that was good with regards to that. Let's just hope that because of that, he's going to be he's going to be in a strong position for the game on Sunday. You then had Kevin Danzo. He played the first game for Austria and then didn't play the second, and he got one assist. So, again, some good minutes for him. And obviously with regards to that, will hopefully be fresh, if he's needed, to come on for either Romero or Van de Ven, because you'd like to think they are, the main, going to be ones that play that game. Lucas Bergvall, played both games for Sweden. He had the first game, the 85 minutes he played for that, and the second he played the first half. Difficult one there, because obviously Sweden aren't having a great time and have just sacked their manager Jon Dahl Tomasson. So, it'll be interesting to see who goes into there and tries to get that working, because I think, the only advantage for us will be that the way it's looking is they're not going to qualify for the World Cup, which means that that he's going to be fresh for the following season. But that would just be a shame, really, more than anything else. Van de Ven, he played 84 minutes in the first game and then 71 minutes in the second for Holland. They sort of were playing him more on the left, which obviously is not really going to be of any use to Spurs, because he is a centre back for us. We've got Spence, we've got Udogie, who tend to play those roles. So, but it's good that he was getting the minutes, and obviously, was able to, not get any injuries. I think that'll be the key part. From what I can gather, there wasn't any sort of knocks or concerns that anybody had from international duty. So that's good. Obviously, I think we'll find out more in Thomas Frank's press conference. You then had Brennan Johnson, not the best of international duties for him. Obviously, he played both games, 76 minutes against England, and then he played 32 minutes in their second game. Didn't really have much of an impact with regards to that. And as we all saw, Jed Spence made that very clear in the first game who won that battle. Papsar, he played both games for Senegal. He played the full 90 minutes in the first game, and then he played 22 minutes in the second. And it's becoming a mainstay for them, when they go to the World Cup. Pedro Porro, he played 75 minutes of the first game and then 90 minutes of the second for Spain. He will be a mainstay, like I mentioned, for some of the others. And obviously it's going to be interesting to see if anybody does really come in for him in the summer. But I think we're going to be talking mega money with regards to that. In terms of Romero, we got quite lucky there. He played the full game in the first one, and then the second one didn't play. Tottenham actually got a private jet to get him back, or private plane, whatever you want to call it, to get him back, so that he was going to be really ready for it. And that is really positive when it comes to this, because it means the club are actually acting serious. They're not talking about money or saving costs. It's like, no, we need the player back because of how important he is. So hopefully we'll reap the benefits of that against Aston Villa. Paulinho played the second game, didn't play the first. For Portugal, so only played 28 minutes, but again, no seem to be having any injuries, so that was good. Jed Spence played both games for England, and really played well, really well. And I think he's almost now cementing himself as a fullback option, not a left or a right back, or a fullback option for England. And I think if he carries on his form, definitely going to be going to the World Cup. I just don't see how he doesn't. I really don't. And that is a massive turnaround for him. In terms of the fact that we would negotiate with Genoa to sell him. So real good turnaround. And I think if he can keep that going, that would be fantastic. We then had, Richarlison, who played, 11 minutes in the first game and then 15 minutes in the second. No goals, no assists for Brazil, but, I think the fact that he didn't get injured is a key sort of element with regards to that. In terms of Udogie and Vicario, played neither. So more just went there to warm the bench. So again, that's good for us because again, no injuries with that. Now, I did mention earlier that we got kind of through it unscathed with no injuries. Obviously, people were going, but what, hang on a minute, Ben Davies and Yves Bissouma got injured in their games for Wales and Mali, respectively. To be brutally honest, is anyone that bothered that those two got injured? Not really. They weren't going to play. I think, Bissouma, people said that, he could be out for a while, but he was never going to get in. He made it clear. He made his bed with Spurs. I think what we I wouldn't be surprised if we see is dependent on the severity of the injury. I wouldn't be surprised if a deal's done for Bissouma for him to seek pastures new. His contract's up in the summer. And I think probably maybe even the same with Ben Davies. If his injury is severe, we don't know yet with them, but they wouldn't be playing that game at Aston Villa. So I think with those, it'll be a case of the club seeing what the situation is, and maybe coming up with deals for either. I think more likely, if any of them were to go, it'd be Bissouma over Davies. I think with Davies, it will be a case of that they will maybe see it through to the end so he can have a proper send-off. But tell us what you think. From the looks of it, though, we should be full strength for the game against Villa. And as always, come on, you Spurs.